This is Daily Politics, in which we discuss politics, policy, and governance. And I'm your host, Hamza Idris. We'll take a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Welcome back. If you are just joining, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. Still have in the studio Dakore Ipendu, co-convener Geopolitics Series and CEO of Public Intel Security Africa. Welcome back. And Senator Iregbu, convener Geopolitics Series and editor-in-chief Global Sentinel. I got frightened the way, you know, he gave vivid picture of how another scramble, we like scramble for Africa while in secondary school. It's like now another scramble is setting in. Where are the African leaders? We have the Tinubus, you know, we have the Bazooms in Niger, even though he has been quite enough. All the presidents, you know, and heads of state of Africa. What role are they playing?
Okay, as much as it saddles us to talk about this, the truth is, I think if you ask any sane youth on the streets, anyone who knows history, he or she would tell you that, look, the claws of these actors, the global actors, is still on Africa, and we are still experiencing neocolonialism. And I'll tell you a story. Last year, I had some guests on my show. Do not forget, I am a broadcast journalist.
Yes, I know.
Yes. Okay, so I had some guests on my show, and we were going to talk about the October 1st. You know, of course, everyone likes to talk about October 1st, what we are getting along and all of that. And he is a retired military personnel, and he said, Akari, I'm not going to talk about it.
Well, you will not talk about it?
Yes, we're still backward because we are still experiencing the neocolonialism.
So there is nothing like independence?
There's nothing like independence. And he went further, and he talked about neocolonialism on economic, you know, the economic factor and all of that. And if you think deep very well, we are still experiencing this. And he rightly asked, what would this leader bring on board? I would plead with any leader watching this to at least make sure that the resources of Nigeria, even if not for other African countries, is safer. Because you find out these Chinese people, like Senator had actually put in right words, they come into Africa, they harness it, they take it out. And what is that thing that we are not doing right? Is it to have a factory? Is it to have people who have studied in this set of subjects to make sure that these factories are functioning? The answer is we are not lacking behind, we Africans. We have these people here, but why are we not taking this into cognizance? Yeah,
one of our directors, actually, a few days ago, he sent me something.
Okay.
You know, it's a photo of Lebanese, Chinese, and all that coming out of an aircraft. They have landed in Nigeria. And they said, the population, you alluded to that, the population of foreigners in Nigeria now, if we are to take roll call, all of us will be shocked. So why are they coming, and why are we jabbering? Yeah, we are jabbering. We had a story a few days ago. Many Nigerians stranded in UK.
True.
Skilled Nigerians.
Yes.
You know, after paying, you know, thousands of pounds to find their way out, because some discounted their buildings, their cars, they leave their jobs and all that. Why are these people coming here, and who is giving them visa?
So that's where you talked about leadership. You mentioned what are the leaders do. This is where leadership comes in, and this is where we need patriotic leaders who will not sell. I told you how when I was telling you where PLO Lumumba, he was telling that is African leaders selling out.
Yes.
You know, negotiating our resources.
Is it to attract protection so that they will not be removed by the military?
I think it's out of selfishness.
It's out of selfishness. Yes. It's out of selfishness because these foreigners cannot come in without some powerful figures within the system protecting them. So they are closer to the system and the powers than ordinary Nigeria who are jackbarring. Because those people are the periphery. They are frustrated. They are outside the system. And this system we are talking about, just few. And because these few powerful people are not, they're only loyal to their money, the power, not to the state, not patriotic about the progress. They are not thinking, but those ones coming are also not only are they loyal to the foreigner, they're also loyal to their home government.
True.
So, and these people, so the environment is ripe for. Tell me, why is it that our mining system is not well developed?
Yes. And now we have like 3 ministries or 2 ministries around that.
Yes.
We have the solid minerals and we have still development.
I want to believe that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu must have taken this into cognizance for actually establishing that ministry.
But will they harness them? Because if you go to Taraba, now, you see hundreds, if not thousands, of these Chinese, Lebanese, Indians, and all that. And they are removing this in only settling local champions. I mean, traditional rulers. And then some people from Ministry of Solid
conflict around all those areas.
Whose fault is this?
If you ask me, let me just say a little thing about myself. About 12 years back, my dad was actually into mining.
Okay.
And then I'm going to appreciate the bill that was signed regarding local inclusion of people, just in case when foreigners come, we have the local.
There must be local content,
local content and all of that. It's very good. But then again, even if it gives a power to one director to be in Nigeria and to oversee things, trust me, most directors of such do not even have such power and leverage over the foreigners like they would in their country. Do you understand? It's a different ball game entirely. I received some Chinese people who was going to do some business and they were talking about getting some mineral resources. At first I rejected because I know them quite well. Do you understand? But then again, I felt, okay, let's just give this person a benefit of doubt. She was coming from a different country and she's a professor. She's a House of Rep member in the country where she was coming from. But that does not eliminate what they are. It doesn't even stop them from doing what they know how to do best. They rip off. Yes, they rip off. And the thing is, how I wish the Nigerian leaders can protect our resources. Let it not be a curse. Like we rightly said on geopolitics, it's a cause of mismanagement. I would rather say if they can manage these resources very well by establishing more factories, having local content take over these, we would not have any reason why foreigners would come, explore us, exploit our leaders, and we have the next generation to suffer for it.
All right, Senator, there is no state in Nigeria that does not have one mineral or the other.
True.
And I think that was how we arrived at 36 states now, and the federal. Because when they are writing to the military, then you have to explain why you think if you are given statehood, you will take care of yourself. And they convincingly submit papers, memorandum and all that. And when you look at it, they are verifiable. But at the end of the day, they wait for federal allocation. Zamfara, Taraba, Nasarawa, Kaduna, name it.
And these are states that is mineral rich.
Very rich.
Then is there a nexus between their rich mineral or solid mineral or liquid or whatever? Is there any nexus between this and the instability?
Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's a nexus because that's the point of the fragility of Africa as a whole. Then the component states is tied to all this.
And that's why I narrowed it to Nigeria.
Because the more fragile those states are, the more this foreign power and their local backers, the more they get. Instead of those the earnings going to the states, it goes to the private pockets. So, and even they create, it will surprise you, forget all this you are saying, farmer had a conflict, all this, it will surprise you that the source of all those conflicts are resource conflicts. If you dig deeper. So you find that in fact it happened even, there's something that is called blood diamond in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, conflict driven by
they instigated the conflict in order to divert attention.
Because if Africa is stable, if the country is stable, first of all, you will be able to have more leverage. Your system will be strong enough to prevent all these loopholes. If you check, because that's why sometimes I don't want to be too hard on Tinubu and ECOWAS. Because you need to play some role within your sub-region. If not, outside powers will come and dominate. And people already talking, Russia is coming. Why will you want to? For Russia will fight you. Wagner is there. France is there. If you notice that when Nigeria was a little relatively stable, Nigeria was playing that role. Was in Liberia, in Sierra Leone. But since we started having conflict, the Boko Haram issue, then all our resources, all our energy came back to internal security operation. Exactly. So outside powers already taking over the hegemonic role. Our hegemonic role within our sub-region is eroding. So, and it's an aberration, because if you check other continent, they have hegemonic powers in each region.
Each of the continents.
Each of the continent. That before other SI powers, you take cognizance. Like you come to Indian Ocean, India is there. You come to the Eurasia, Russia is there. You come to Far East, China and Japan are there. You come to Oceania, Australia is there. Then you come to Europe, Germany, France and UK are there, playing those hegemonic powers.
Africa,
so
Nigeria
Africa,
has been
nothing. If you come to South Africa, South America, even Brazil and Argentina can give you some thing to think about. But in Africa, Nigeria used to play that role before.
Yeah.
Gaddafi's Libya used to play that role before. But over time, due to internal conflict and that power has eroded. And another thing too is we don't have statesmen. We have politicians now. And you have leaders who will not respect the constitution. They want to, after their tenure finish, they want to sit tight. Maybe they have 2 tenure before constitution allowed, before they took power. When their 2 tenure want to expire, they want to override the constitution and extend it. That's what happened in Guinea, and the coup is struck. Wow. The same thing happened in Mali, and the coup is struck. So our leaders need to begin to take, become statesmen. Put the state first. Even it nearly happened in Ivory Coast with Alassane Ouattara. He was just lucky, because of the configuration of the state. Exactly. They already have their civil war, so they don't want another war coup. That's why he escaped his own. But these are things we are talking about. And recently, the Liberian George Weah said, instead of talking of this coup, can we even talk about some of the actions of our leaders that are leading to this coup and instability?
The
root cause. So you see a lot of youth frustrated, going out, and people are angry. And the system, foreigners will just come, and so we need to begin to address, look inward.
Yeah. Welcome back. If you are just joining, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. Still having the studio, Barrister Adebayo Shitu, Chieftain of the All Progressive Congress, former Minister of Communications. So before we went on break, he said Tinubu must be firm to boot those who are not doing well out so that he can get it right. But it's like things have started falling apart in earnest. Why am I saying this? A story is flying now that some of his ministers have issues. Take maybe Hannatu Musawa. Have you read about her problem?
Of course I read it.
Why are you laughing, Minister?
As far as I'm concerned, that is not even an issue.
Why?
We are guided in this country by the 1999 Constitution.
What did the 1999 Constitution
The 1999 Constitution did not make it mandatory for anybody to hold public office that he must have an NYSC discharge certificate.
I don't understand. We called the NYSC here in Delhi before we reported. We didn't bother about the social media. Yeah. We called NYSC and they said what she did was in the breach.
In what breach? Was she the one who appointed herself?
Is the president.
The president appointed her, and the president has not broken any law because the Constitution and several court judgments have said to become a politician or a public office holder, you don't having NYSC discharge is not a requirement. In 1979, yes. I contested the election into the Oyo State House of Assembly. I was coming direct from law school, and I contested.
You didn't serve there?
I didn't.
But that thing has been trailing you.
Let me say this.
Okay.
I didn't serve. I went to do higher service in the Oyo State House of Assembly. And my opponent, who I defeated from NPN, he took me to court.
This was in 1979?
1979. He took me to court. And the court threw out his case. He said the court should invalidate my victory because I didn't do national service.
Even though you were a graduate?
Even though I was just coming out of law school. And the court asked, where in the 1979 Constitution is there a provision that to contest election in terms of assembly or any other political post, you must have NYSC discharge certificate? And by the time I finished my service in the House of Assembly, I was 30, and I also automatically got appointed as Honorable Commissioner for Home Affairs, Information and Culture.
Wow.
That was in 1983. I was 30 by then. So, I mean, if anybody
and as a lawyer now, the Constitution has not been changed. There was no any clause.
That aspect of NYC has not changed in the Constitution. Subsequent constitutions retained the provision as it is. It did not say now anybody to go and do service or go and enter political office or something must first do NYC. There's no such law.
When you went for screening for you to be appointed minister, did they ask you for your NYC certificate?
They could not have asked because it is not a part of the requirements in the Constitution. So it will be out of place for anybody to start asking me, have you served? Is it a requirement, must I serve before I enter House of Assembly or National Assembly or become minister?
But I remember in 2019, you wanted to vie for the governorship in Oyo State. And I think Oshomole was in charge there.
Yes.
He didn't allow you to scale through.
It was not.
And he brought the issue of the NYSC.
Let me tell you.
All right.
What happened then? It was fraud. The person who brought my case to the House of to the party's secretariat that I didn't serve, that was the late Ajimobi. He himself never served.
Wow.
And he was given ticket for Senate, while I was disqualified after I had paid 20 million naira for the form.
You dragged them to court later?
I went to court, but somehow my lawyer then also frustrated me.
Oh my God.
By withdrawing the case without my authority. So I just decided that, So
when you heard of the Hannatu Musawa case, what was your reaction?
My reaction was that it was an irrelevant issue. The president needed her at a higher level than NYC level. And so be it. Once the president decides, the lady did not employ herself, did not appoint herself as minister. It was Mr. President, and Mr. President, anybody in service in Nigeria, in any kind of service, could be re-engaged by Mr. President to do other...
If she goes to court, will you go and defend her?
Of course, if I'm engaged to go and defend her, I will.
Are you now saying she should go to bed and sleep?
She does not have to even worry herself about all the noise.
But then what about the noise all over that? Nigeria is waiting for Tinubu's action. Do you think he will act on this?
What is the offense of Tinubu? They have to come and tell us and use the Constitution as the basis for their arguments.
But what is the difference between her case and that of Kemi Adeosun?
The problem with Kemi is that she didn't serve, and she ought not to have served because she schooled abroad and stayed abroad until after 30, which was the mandatory. Instead of her to just come like I have always come.
Yeah, and you remain like that.
And I remain like that.
Any apology. You didn't make any move to recover.
She went to procure a forged, exemption certificate, which she didn't need. So that was the difference.
Now, who will educate NYSC that it's not actually a problem?
NYSC, they have a legal department. So
they should understand that.
I expect them to understand.
All right, let's move to another thing. What is your take on MFLA?
Well, what's the problem with MFLA?
Well, he is there cooling his feet.
Well, for offenses that he knows that he had committed while being governor for 8 or 9 years.
Some are saying President Tinubu has started violating court injunctions.
Why did MFLA not take Tinubu to court if he had a good case? Why did he not go to court? He went to court and withdrew the case.
Yeah, why do you think he withdrew it? And his lawyer said that they are going to do plea bargain.
Well, it means that it's a presumption that he is guilty. Anybody calling for plea bargain means, look, I agree I've stolen. I want to submit, I want to deliver all I've stolen.
So that is the spirit behind that.
That is the spirit behind the plea bargain.
But is it helping the country in any way?
No, it will be unfortunate and counterproductive, because if somebody steals billions of naira and instead of going to jail says he's coming to plea bargain, one of those who stole 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 languishing in jail
for years.
For years. I mean, it is discriminatory against the poor.
So what is your advice to President Tinubu in respect to the MFLS case?
No, the case is still in court.
Yeah, I mean, likely. I don't want us to go into...
Again, it will be unfortunate and discriminatory against the poor. Except you want to say that anybody who has stolen would always have opportunity of plea bargain.
Some are saying he's being held because of the Naira policy he brought, but some are also saying that Naira policy was the product of Abdul Rashid Bawa.
Let him go to court.
Even Bawa, the EFCC chairman.
Anybody who feels being cheated can always approach the court, order for the human rights provision or whatever to say, I'm not guilty of any offense. Court, please order that I should be released.
Yeah.
And then those who knows what he has done will be able to come out and say, you stole multi-billions. It's not the same Emefiele who was from whose house, millions of dollars was carted, recovered. If he's governor of a bank, is his house also a bank?
No,
in Nigeria we must face the reality and we start, using irrelevant arguments and sentiments.
But do you also agree that President Tinubu has started losing goodwill?
Like
the cry across the country over poverty, lack of even food. People are now looking for food.
Know that, look, the issue of poverty has always been with us over the last several centuries.
So it's not about Tinubu?
It's not about Tinubu. Tinubu, I see him as a potential redeemer of this country.
With the level we are now?
He has made commitments, and I don't see him as somebody who tells lies.
Barrister, you know that as we speak now, millions of Nigerians have not taken breakfast.
Let me tell you.
They have not taken lunch.
I am one
and
of
most likely they will sleep with empty stomach.
I'm sorry to say this.
Yes.
Tinubu didn't create that problem for us. It has been a Nigerian problem arising from misgovernance and bad governance over the decades. He is coming and we all supported him because we have a feeling that he's potentially going to solve this problem. And he has given a commitment. And from what we have seen so far, his body language shows, and he said, he was even so humble enough to say, look, don't sympathize with me over the gargantuan nature of Nigeria's problem, which I have to solve.
Welcome back. If you are just joining, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. I still have with me in the studio Shogun Shoumi, honorary aspirant of PDP in Ogun State and spokesperson for the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. Welcome back.
Thank you.
To the program. Now, what can Tinubu do to take Nigeria out of the doldrums? Because it is now 3 months, subsidy is gone, people are crying, many families cannot eat even once a day now in Nigeria.
Okay. When we were doing this campaign,
yes,
most people never bothered to ask me that, oh, Shegun, you're a Yoruba man like Bola Tinubu. Why were you with Atiku, a northerner?
You now have the opportunity to answer.
No, yeah. Is it that you don't think that not all these things are saying?
Yeah.
I'll answer it now. Maybe Atiku doesn't even know.
Okay.
The reason why I was with him is that...
not with Tinubu.
Not with Bola.
Or Peter Obi or any other
First
candidate.
of all, I'm not in their party. That's
yes,
one reason.
You are from PDP.
PDP.
But you will have already defected. Many people defected ahead of the election.
I've never done that since 1998 that we've been in this party. I've never...
You've been in PDP.
Never one day left this party. Not because they've treated
Don't
me.
you feel cheated?
I do feel, but let me just go to this
All
question.
right. Okay,
You see,
then
what I saw
yes,
is that the situation of the northern Nigeria, as a result of Muhammadu Buhari, President Buhari's 8-year rule, has done so much damage there in terms of the poverty indicators, the insecurity, all the infighting, all of that crisis.
Yeah, the banditry,
the whole
the
lot,
Boko Haram,
all the nonsense they are doing around the
decimation of the farmland,
everything that was wrong there. And I thought that, okay, anybody that wants to fix it must be someone that can look the North straight in their eyes and tell them this is the new way to go in the North. And the people of the North must have the assurance that it's not victimizing them. So I then felt that if, like he's the president now, okay, fine, we'll see how it goes in court. I felt that the kinds of reform he will need to do to rescue the North, if he were to try to do it, then conveniently they will say it's because it's not from them. Number one. Number two, I felt that the 25 years of democracy, you can map where the internally generated revenue of the countries have grown. And you will see that the internally generated revenue of the country for the states and all of that have grown very much in the southern side. So I didn't think that beyond tribalism, I didn't think that there was any real evidence that the southern part to say, oh, we've not been treated well. I felt that the place we needed to fix was the North. And I knew that somebody who is
you try to be a true Nigerian.
I am a true Nigerian. I knew that.
Don't you feel that back southwest, you see you as a traitor of sort?
No, I don't. If there are leaders there, then that means that their leaders want me to open up on the things that I have done so far for their own causes when they needed that type of...
I think you should do that
No, not today. Okay. When they needed that kind of support.
Okay.
You see, my view about the country, Nigeria, is our country, Nigeria, is that I do not accept that somebody should stay in the southeast and be decimating them like that, and that there shouldn't be a reverse process that can give the mass of the people of that area a bigger sense of the belonging in the country. That was why I said you can't give others 10 and give them 5. Because I know that if you had given them maybe 7 like you gave the others, at least they would, for the optics, they wouldn't feel that the glass ceiling against them. I'm not from the Igbo land.
Yeah.
And I felt that knowing how the country was, knowing all the issues and all of that, the amount of we're fighting Boko Haram today, we're fighting that, and it's not going away, I felt that it was going to be a very bad deal for the North when they begin to do economic reform according to how they know, and then at the end of the day, there will be excruciating poverty in the rural North. If I ask you, you are from there. When was the last time, you went into the rural fringes of the North?
I'm actually from Daura,
I know. Are you not even afraid that how did our people reduce to this? I saw a video in Gashua. A man was eating bean cake that is not even of any significant quantity. He ate what he could and he had very little left, maybe about 5 or 6 cells on the thing. And I saw a horde of young Nigerian children in the whether Majiri or beggars, whatever they swam on it like bees.
Oh my God.
When I got
on the plate.
When I got home and I looked at that video again, I became very angry with the North and Northern leaders. Because inside my heart, I know that this was what I was telling them was coming to happen. No person that understands the issues of the North will be happy that this is the North. Because for me, I don't see North, I don't see South, I don't see East, I don't see West. I see that some people, by accident or fate or whatever they call it, have given us the biggest country in Africa. And it is that biggest country in Africa that I want to see stand firm. And in making it stand firm, it cannot be that I am happy that, oh, my Yoruba people are eating, they are fat, they are doing well, they are getting by. And I'm looking at all my northern brothers, they are struggling, they are this, they are having issues. And then you are making it worse by making sure that the relationship that exists between them and our neighbors, who are, but for language, who are us.
You think Tinubu is not the Messiah? He must have seen this video, or just allowed him.
No. What will he do?
Okay, what can he do then?
No, if you want me to offer some thought processes on what can be done, you know, I feel that can happen. We can start to bring that onto the table seriously.
Maybe after the tribunal?
Why? Because ab initio, what I feel like doing in the north now, assuming I can go to the north, because I was on radio, I did everything in Kano, I want to do like this. I told you so. Not because I want to mock them, but because I really did one.
Are you now saying it is the North that actually caused what is happening now, or northern leaders?
What I am saying is that the negotiation for power in a democracy is number-based. It's number-based.
And the North has the number.
If it is number-based, the strategic objective of a place that looks like that must be to have very clear understanding as to what the policies will be. If I were him, assuming I was the one that was president in 2023, assuming I was the president, what I would have done is, instead of all this jazz that I see them doing, I would have, the constituency I should give 111%, I would have given them. Then I would have created a super minister for each of the zone. So what I would have done is I would have taken somebody like Nasir El-Rufai, I would have given him the burden of...
But he's already abroad.
I know, I'm just saying. It's late now. I'm just using him.
Exactly.
We can find thousands of his lives. I would have said, you are going to be a minister in charge of the Northwest zone. I want solutions to these ugly things I'm seeing.
So you can now say maybe like Northwest Affairs.
No,
Minister of
I would
Northwest Affairs.
I'll call it whatever name I want to call it. You are the ones in charge of the Southeast. So I'll give those 6 ministers to make up those zones, and their own responsibility will not be to come and sit down in cabinet, be chasing what is not lost, but to keep coming back to me in the presidency in a special program that can radically change those areas. Because the intervention you need to take care of poverty in the north is not necessarily the intervention you need to take care of poverty in the southwest.
They need different approach.
It has to be.
We've been duplicating things like this. Look at the NDDC.
Forget that. I'm not talking about all
agencies.
that. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the bureaucracy that you create. I'm talking about mini presidents in the zone because of the emergency. I will not expect somebody from the northwest now to come and start telling me that the priority for them is all this small, medium scale industry. When you look at the numbers, how many of them are able to cope? Or you come and start telling me, oh, the priority for us is to do tech economy. Well, where are the tech economic experts among this mass of our people that can't eat? I expect the person to come and tell me, this is the pathway to get them out of poverty. This is how I'm going to do the silos of employment. This is how I'm taking them to the farm. This is the kinds of thing. Nobody, you see, my brother, I'm only guilty of loving the country. If I have any guilt in my life,
you'll be exonerated.
I know, I'm just saying that. The only thing that is with me is that I believe in us so much. I believe in our capacity. Do you know what in Nigeria?
And that's why you wanted Atiku.
No, because
what is your hope now in what is happening at the Election Petition Tribunal?
Well, even the Atiku, I used to tell him often. I remember in 2019 when he was coming or we were doing that campaign, I used to tell him that. I went to him one day, I said, Waziri, he said, yes, Shegun, what is it? I said, do you know the implication of another president being installed by the popular hope of our people and him failing? He was holding his pen, he dropped it.
To hear more from you.
What am I talking about? I said, because once we go into a populist president comes in and he fails, we would have dashed the hope of our people to believe in anybody that can also...
And is that where we are now?
Well, you see, I mean, come on, I'm not going to say, let us make Nigeria, then I'll tolerate you coming to kill my own father, Bola Tinubu. That's not the point.
Right?
The point is that, the point I'm making is that I expect him to give it his best. I expect him to be the leader of Nigeria. And I expect him to domesticate policies of poverty eradication in such a way that every section is growing according to their needs.
And it appears that you have given up
on the case.
From what you are saying, yeah,
no,
what is happening in
no. You see,
okay. Are you still hopeful?
Let me say it this way. Okay. Nations never, you don't have a situation in a nation where nobody is with the power part time.
Okay.
Part time, even if there is a coup, then somebody is in the power, you know. If there is somebody has to, for now, the reign of the levers of state is in his hand.
And you admit this?
Even if I don't admit it, that's the fact. When we get to the tribunal, we are done with the case.
Yeah, it's just the judgment.
We're waiting for the judgment. And on all our behalves, on all our behalves, and with every sense of sanity, we must not give the impression that the only time that the judiciary is right is when it favors us.
Okay.
Because it's going to favor one of us. I pray it favors us. I'm PDP, I've never left, I told you that.
Yeah.
But I must also conceive in my mind that maybe just for theoretical sake, it can favor P2B. Just for theoretical, because it's in court.
Okay, yeah.
And I must conceive in my mind theoretically that it can favor the status quo. We must not bring ourselves to a point where we take our eyes off the important issue. And for me, the important issue is the general welfare
of Nigeria,
the peace, the prosperity, and the happiness of all Nigerians.
I have a feeling that Atiku is also giving up,
No.
The way he's, approaching the matter on Twitter, that is X now, on Facebook, the comments. Look at the last one, talking about Tinubu's primary school certificate, secondary school certificate not there, and then going to Chicago. And is it not forum shopping of sorts?
No. You see, first of all, it's like saying that you are so naive to think that every tweet that comes from the office of President Tinubu is written by him.
Welcome back. If you are just joining, you are watching Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. I still have in the studio Abdullahi Sidi Ali, former aspirant for the position of National Youth Leader of the All Progressives Congress. Welcome back. And Musa Mamman Kotogora, Chairman, APC North Central Youth Stakeholders Forum. Welcome back also.
Thank you.
Yes, we're talking about youth participation. Now, going forward, there are quite a number of positions, or hundreds, awaiting Tinubu's approval. What are your expectations?
As politically,
economically, socially, yes.
Politically, what I am expecting and the plead, because he's a president now, we need to plead.
Oh, okay.
You understand? As a leader.
And we hope he's watching, or those very close to him are watching.
He should please carry the youth along. The youth must not be given position at the higher ranking. You understand? They are board members. They are SA to ministers. You understand? There are a lot of positions he will give to the youth that will give the youth courage.
Okay, are you now advocating this as a training ground of
As
sorts?
a training ground.
Oh.
And yes. And the disadvantage of it is, if the youth of the party are not carried along, 2027 is going to be...
It's already knocking, right?
Yes, it is going to be tough. You get? That's the angle of those that are there for what? They are there to get it quickly.
Yeah.
You get? Not for even... It is for everybody now.
Yeah. Sidi, you have something to add to this?
So, me too, I will talk something similar to his own. I would rather beg, plead and plead to the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria on his appointments. He's supposed to look at the historical root of Nigeria, how youth has contributed in the independence of Nigeria, how youths have contribute in republics and many parliamentary system, executive system, judiciary system, how they contribute with their political antecedents, with their political history. You're supposed to make a judgment based on that. Mr. President has said during his campaign in Lagos, even though before the campaign started, there was one dialogue that he did in Lagos, if I could remember. He said that any nation that want to be a developed nation, it must invest in its youths.
Yeah.
I have it even in my phone when he was saying. He said that if he's to be voted as the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, he is going to give the youth the mandate, and he's going to give them the car to drive by themselves, because this is their country. He has already been old. It's their future. So I advise Mr. President to go through that, his promises, and through his word. Elderly people, if they say something, they don't used to change it.
Yeah.
We believe in that. You're supposed to go and check the youths that are there, very ready to contribute, and already have an historical investment in the contribution of moving this nation forward. You should go and look for them, search for them, the idea. There are millions of them in very angle. No, I'm not talking for him to go and take anyone. He's supposed to go and look for competent.
And this brings the last question before we move to Niger and Gabon, to you, Kontagora. Delivery, because it's not just about appointment. Quite a number of youths, I don't want to mention name, they've been given position of trust and they betrayed it. How assured should Tinubu and others, millions of Nigerians, be that if given positions, youths will deliver?
Of course, youth, I'm very sure youth will deliver. Like when I had an interview with TVC, I said there are a lot of youth with capacity, resilient youth.
All over the country.
Like I will make reference with my brother here. He contested the national youth leader. There is no compensation on people of his carnival up till now.
Oh my God.
They have followers. Anybody, you must be you being a full politician is when you come out to contest. You understand me? So those kind of youth needs to be compensated. And in the angle of youth development, national development, the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu should bring out skill acquisition. Should bring out innovation. So that
even those who go to school,
we have
aspire for positions, they will have a sense of belonging.
creative youth in Nigeria that are talented. The government should bring out innovation. We are very happy to divide the sector of minister.
And thank God we have the Ministry of Art and Creative Economy, right?
Yes.
And
the president
they have a lot to do.
And the president have divided sport from youth.
Yes.
So what we expect the incoming minister of youth to do now is let him not make emphasis on only
educated youth.
Only educated youth. The youth at the grassroots need to come up. I am from the grassroots.
Who actually been recruited into banditry, Boko Haram, militancy.
A lot of them, if their
energy could be harnessed.
If they are given training, we are in the modern world now. If they are given training on shoemaking, you understand a lot of things, skill acquisition, there will be. You understand?
Yeah. And especially in the country.
Yes.
Now, CD, thank you very much. Are you not worried or rather agitated? Few weeks ago, you've seen how you took to the streets in Niamey, in Niger. Niger is the country, but in Niamey, in Maradi, and other cities celebrating. Now, just yesterday, we saw thousands of youths celebrating on the streets of Gabon capital, right? Yeah. Why is this happening? Why are youths celebrating the ouster of their presidents and then the coming back of military? I know you are young, very young, to remember what. Maybe you are not born, or
we were born in the time, but
very young. You see,
very deceiving ending.
When
we were born in Abacha.
Exactly. When Abdesalam handed over
I was born during Abacha.
You see, so are you? What is your feeling with what we are witnessing now in Niger and in Gabon?
My feelings is that Niger and Gabon can never be compared with Nigeria in terms of democracy.
The maturity.
Yes, maturity of democracy. When you look at the democracy of Nigeria, it's quite different than the one in Niger. For example, I can remember when Tanja Mamadi is in power in Niger. Tanja Mamadi would make one statement. He said that have you ever see Iran being slaughtered and wake up people say to him, he will slaughter a ram and the ram will wake up and he will continue to be the president. That means that he will continue to be the president of Niger. He said this publicly. So a little after he said that, military junta took over the country at that moment. So in Nigeria, something like that has never happened. For somebody to come and accuse or somebody to try to manipulate the constitution of Nigeria by extending the tenures. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has tried that before, and
allegedly,
but he has seen what the consequences will be. He stepped aside and left that amendment for the third term bill in Nigeria. So this is clearly going to show you that Nigeria have already welcomed democracy, and it will continue to go. The remaining countries that are having issues, like Niger or somewhere else, are still under democracy, but in one part it's not democracy. They are still together with their colonial masters, enjoying the national cake with the foreign influence. But in Nigeria still we are independent. If our president Bola Tinubu, if you like, he went to Paris and sleep. If you like, he went to London and sleep. If he went to America and sleep, he will have interaction with anybody. But unlike these remaining countries aside, so I still have an hope and spirit of unity, of democracy in Nigeria, and still I'm pleading and appealing to our youths to hold themselves and let them go and follow the history of military in Nigeria, what they have did and what democracy have did before them, to started even thinking or started seeing this or that.
That is actually the new vogue in town.
Mostly the ones that they are celebrating there in the street did not know what military administration is all about.
Okay, you are nodding your head. You have something to add? Why are the youth celebrating?
Yes, to me, you know that to me, the youth celebrating on the street, they are the illiterates.
Okay, that is your estimation.
That, yes. And many of them might be paid to go to the street, roam about, you understand?
Okay, shouting. Maybe they were paid.
Many of them may be paid, because there is no country in his right senses that would like to go back. Never. You understand me? So this happening in Nigeria, it will be very difficult.
Amen.
It is very difficult. I know I have my reasons why I said it will be very difficult. Nigeria, our currency is being made by us.
Printing and minting.
You understand? By the CBN, by printing and minting. You understand? Understand that the president is the overall commander-in-chief of the armed forces. I have made research on that.
Okay.
The power given to the Nigerian president is different from other presidents in the world.
Wow.
It is different.
It's enormous.
Yes. Enormous. The president of Nigeria is in charge of the army, you understand? Not only in charge of the army.
But Kotogoro, you know that since 1979 we've been having this, there are some factors that actually motivate the military to take over, like hunger, joblessness, and all that. What message are there, or messages are there for Nigeria? Because even the president himself said that coup is becoming contagious, even though he said that he will continue to do his best to deliver on the mandate given to him by Nigerians, right? Okay. Yeah. So how do you think he can fast track this service delivery so that Nigerians will remain calm, the military will also remain calm?
Yes. To me, there are 2 to 3 things that are needed.
Okay.
The first thing needed is food security,
which is one of his actually 8-point agenda. It's even number 1.
There is a lot of hunger
in the land.
Yes, and you know, due to coming of COVID-19 and other pandemic,
the flood of 2022,
the economic of the world has breakdown.
Yeah.
So now, the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there are some ministries that need to work together.
Okay.
They need to come together in order to fasten the development of his government and the development of this country. The price control need to be controlled.
Okay, we need price control.
We need price control.
Welcome back. If you are just joining, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. I now have in the studio Andrew Lisami. He holds PhD in political science and he comments on virtually everything. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
You've seen the first part of the program. What is your impression? How much is rice in your area?
When I look at the way you were coming up, I realized that you took it from the top. You're supposed to come from the bottom.
Okay.
Have you seen how much is a measure? In our local parlance, we call it mudu.
Yes.
How many type of rice do we even have? You know, most of the time when people see things that come from abroad or outside the ocean, they believe it's original. It's not everything that comes from there that is original. You
are not referring to what we produce back
What we produce, as local as what we produce today, half of a mudu in our local balance is 800, 900 naira of rice.
And that can feed like how many people?
How many people? It's just 4 cups that make half of a mudu.
So if you have a wife and 3 children.
It's
very unlikely for that to satisfy the family.
It's not going to go. It will not go anywhere. So when they talk about palliatives, I just look at it that, where did we get it wrong? We don't need this palliative. Cut the cost of fuel, and it will go around. Everything will crash.
But is it that they did not understand, or we were misled when they said the fuel was actually benefiting the elite?
Or
it was a booby trap?
Yes, it's a very good language you're using there, a booby trap. Now, when I was watching you with the gentleman that just left,
yes,
there was a place where you mentioned, is it that the government, no, he mentioned, no, you told him, it's like the government were not ready.
Yeah.
The governments were not ready.
And it's true.
They are not ready.
Okay, let me plead with you to hold your breath. We have a caller from Kogi in the person of Badamasi. Badamasi, welcome to the program. Yes, how much is a bag of rice and how much is a mudu? Because Dr. Andrew here is saying we should start from the bottom. Yeah. Oh, sad. We lost Badamasi. I hope you will call again. Yeah.
Badamasi, please call back. A mudu of rice goes from 1.7 for a mudu. So half goes for 900, 850 or thereabout. Now, the bottom line is when you cook this same rice, it's well polished. But when it gets to the water, it becomes a different thing entirely.
The quality? The
quality drops immediately.
And you also need condiments, right?
To make the rice okay. Now, when you go to, we're talking about rice. What about?
Okay, it's like we have another caller in the person of Rabi from Bukuru in Jos Plateau. Say, Rabi, welcome to the program. And how much is a bag of rice? How much is a mudu of rice in Bukuru?
The bag of rice in Bukuru is around 50 something thousand, 53, 54, 55. It varies from shop to shop.
What about the mudu?
The mudu is 1,000 to 1,004 based on the grade of the rice.
You see, just as Dr. Andrew is saying here. Okay, now, so how do we address this problem? What is your contribution?
The contribution I want to make is, I want to first contribute on the palliative.
Okay.
Palliative sharing is not, according to me, is not right. Because I have even news today from BBC. They reported in BBC Hausa that in Nasarawa State, the sharing formula is in fact very bad because they are sharing one sachet of spaghetti to 4 people. One sachet to 4 people. Is this palliative? People are getting only 2 cups of rice. Half measure of tea milk of oil as palliative. A person will half packet of spaghetti. How could that be? Is that palliative?
All right, it's not. Okay, in summary, what should government do? Should we bring back subsidy? Should we import rice and other grains? Or what is the way out? Briefly.
Even if the government is not going to, return the subsidy, but they should import rice. They allow people to import rice and more food from outside.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Badamasi. Okay, doctor, you heard Badamasi?
I heard him very well, but I think if we can do local,
so
that will not enrich the other country with our little resources.
But the party is not there, Doctor. You know,
I heard you when you were talking about
the party. The millers say they don't have the party. It's not there.
That was why I said, if you look at it, the government of today is not ready. They are so much in a hurry to do what?
Running faster than their shadow.
Too much in a hurry. You see, you just came. Listen. Or you look, you listen, you learn so that you can live. I don't know if I can start.
Very well.
When you look, you listen, you learn so that it helps you to live.
All right.
Now, they are so much in a hurry to please us.
And they are ending up injuring us. Okay, thank you.
We are bleeding.
The last caller was actually Rabiu from Bukuru in Plateau State. The caller we lost, but the Mercy from Kogi is now back. Welcome back. How much is rice in Kogi? Yes.
Rice in Kogi is about 48,000 naira.
Okay.
48,000 naira.
And a mudu?
Well, I don't know of a mudu, but I know a bag of rice is 48,000.
So what is the way forward now? What do we do?
The way forward is for Mr. President to have a meeting with our security men.
Okay.
And our governors. Let the president beg the governors to show more cooperation and allow these military men to be involved in the distribution of whatever palliatives is going to embark upon, so that the idea of partisan will be removed. And we should allow importation of rice, because I have said this in the past. Importation should be allowed because we are in an emergency situation now. Security of the country is porous. Farmers cannot go to the farm. And except you bring in more of these products, these products are not in a larger supply. So bring in rice, bring in all these grains from outside, just for a few months. And the government again should involve a massive investment in agriculture, so that by the time we do away with this palliative or do away with importation, our agri sector will now be well standardized.
All right.
Will be well in place.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Brother Mercy. You heard him. I think he came with quite a number of prescriptions.
Yes.
Open the border.
One.
Bring the rice, but not till eternity, maybe for some months. And then call the governors, hold security meeting, secure our farmlands, then invest heavily in agriculture.
If you look at the gentleman that left here,
John Chooks, yeah.
John Chooks, let me refresh you. There was one thing that the government of today made a mistake of. We have 3 elections coming, Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi.
Yes.
How would you give those states palliative? Who do you think they will share it to?
Party faithful.
Of course. The loyalists, the faithful, it will not get to the others.
Well, if I were there, I would just defect. Since the parties don't even have any difference, I'll just defect. And so that I get it.
Do you understand? So
people are desperate to eat, so they don't care whether your party is white or is green or yellow or whatever.
Put something on the table.
But you had Rabiu,
yes,
who was saying people are giving a sachet of rice.
An Indomie, yeah.
And then Indomie.
Spaghetti.
A sachet of spaghetti for 4 people to share. Are we not making mockery of ourselves?
Of course we are. We are, because that's why I say the government of today is not ready. Because you need to...
But it has to be ready, so we don't have any option, right?
Why
they have to wake up from slumber.
Exactly. Why I said that is that they did not do a thorough research.
A diligent work.
You understand? If you go to market today, you get to some places, they sell a model of red Gary for 800. Some sell for 600. You start wondering, who is selling for 600, who is selling for 800? The man who is selling for 800 tells you that things have increased in the market. As at last week, the same person, next door neighbor, is selling 600, making this first person's own to be superior more than the other one.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's the same thing. So, like, if I would suggest to the government, I would tell them, this is not what we need.